Here we go, here we go. Just share this into, yo. There we go, guys. All right. So obviously, we've got, still need this. Actually, I'm going to set the mins at 200. So that's that. Airbus landings on. Gonna just do a couple of landings here to demonstrate the new A320 in infinite flight. I don't know if I'm gonna set up. Let me just set up the wind. See what's going on here. I know we are. What are you at? 188.11. I suppose I could just start with the wind calm, maybe. I don't know. All right, let me pop in and get the wind. See what the wind looks like. And I will switch to the A320, just so. There we go. I'll just pop in here and grab the weather, current weather. Probably should have gone to South America. That would have been maybe a nice thing to do. 194 at 11. Okay. So let's come out of this. Let's go ahead in this solo mode. And we'll set up for a landing. What did I say that was? 194 at 11. So let's talk real quick about visual cues and muscle. Yeah, visual cues and muscle memory. Right? We've been flying with the HUD for. I mean, I've been flying infinite flight for 5 years now since I lived in New York. Well, actually, that's 7 years. Over 7 years. I think I got it like right before I moved home. So 2015. I don't think I joined the IFC until 2015. How many years is that? I've been flying infinite flight for at least 5 or 6 years anyways. I feel like I had it when it was in its infancy in New York, but I didn't really use it that much. Excuse me. And so we've been flying by the HUD for so long, right? I've done countless tutorials on how to place the flight path vector. And, aircraft like the A321neo, the E190, they do have heads-up displays with flight path vectors, so you can kind of line up good and flare good and all that good stuff. But in the A320 CEO, it doesn't have a HUD, so you got to land by in the visual cues, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up an approach here, and we're going to talk about how the visual cues have changed. Now, this is a very important. Having these instruments is a very serious step forward for us in the march towards more realism in infinite flight. So like, okay, there's instruments now. They're cranking away on the A350. So, maybe when we get the A350, we'll have a flight director that we can follow, which gives us lateral and vertical guidance. That would be awesome. They also seem to have tuned up the auto thrust in the A320 a little bit so that when you pull the speed back, it doesn't decay as much. So I'm going to set up here 30 landings today, and trying to figure it out and just kind of relearn where the visual cues are, what the appropriate kind of what's the word I'm looking for? The viewing angle changed, so the visual cue changed, and you don't have that flight path vector that you can just paint on. You paint that flight path vector right on the 500-foot marks, and you'll get a grease landing every time. This, you kind of got to judge it a little bit. And, the first couple landings I did, I deleted like 7 of the replays, but the first like 6 or 8 landings I did, I'm flaring too early, right? If I had $1 for every time the stream cut out like that, I would be a rich, rich man. Let me see here now. I think it's the same video. All right, then. So it's all about aim point, viewpoint, visual cues, and maybe a little bit change on the timing. And the instruments, you know, just kind of reading the instruments. You know, you should be going downhill at somewhere between 600 foot per minute and 800 foot per minute. What I found challenging so far, once I figured out the kind of the aim point deal, I found that I was getting high on the glide slope really easily, and also that in crosswinds, the lineup is weird. The crab angle, it doesn't feel like you're crabbing, but you are. I don't really know how to describe it, but we're gonna have a bit of a crosswind here because we have some wind picking up here in Boston, so there should be a good landing. We're gonna do a couple anyways. I don't have too much time tonight, but visual cues, muscle memory, got to relearn it, practice makes perfect. Obviously, you know, I didn't. The one thing I wish we had here in 19.3 is the old replay, the old solo replay where you could release the sim, you know, because I'd prefer to release the sim at like 300 feet and practice that flare over and over and over again. So maybe I'll throw up a feature request to bring that back. But for now, let me get in here and figure out what my VAP's supposed to be. I'm gonna keep the plane kind of medium weight here. 127. I'm gonna bump it up to like, let's go to like 134. All right. So I'm gonna figure the VAP for 134 real quick. All right, let me just get the weather. 194. Get some power on real quick. So it's pretty much right down the pike. 194 at 11. The runway is 214. So 20 degrees off. Let's see. So an A320 at 134,000 pounds. 134. Runway is 214. Wind directions 194 and 11. And so 138. 138 for the VAP and 130 for the, turn the touches on and off because that one's down there. Show touches. There we go. I'm going to want you guys to be able to see this. I'm going to bring it back to daylight as well. All right, so this is the view we're used to. Now watch this. They did do the autopilot. Watch this. So I put it down to 138. See that? All right, let me get my trim in. It's probably going to be about 20% trim. Ooh, too much. All right, so I'm going to go high on the glide slope there, right? So I'm aiming with my eyes here, right? The center line's roughly right here. All right, so the wind just blew me off course. And look at that. I'm already a dot above the glide slope. So I'm watching my instrumentation down here. Need to get back on. I might have to just set this up
1,
again.
1,000.
Yeah, too high. Cranking downhill right now. I'm going to try to catch that. Alright, so I got a crab angle on. Alright, and it almost seems like sometimes it's too much crab angle. Still a little bit high. Now I'm looking with my eyes. I'm looking there. All right. Now see.
500.
Brought it back to the left. All right. I'm back on glide slope.
400.
Bring it back up a little bit. Now see, it's almost like it's weird. I can't hold that crab angle that I want to hold.
300.
It's really, really difficult to get adjusted to, right? There we go. Okay, so now I'm looking here. I'm looking just at the numbers.
200.
Right? Looking at the numbers. I know I'm coming downhill too fast now.
100.
Autopilot's coming off.
50. 40.
Yeah, way too low.
30.
Okay, I'm looking
20.
down the runway. And look at that. See, I'm 20 feet in the air. Smash. No good. Let's see. And I landed at like 108 knots. Let's see if I get any applause for this. So, it's difficult. If you're not configured early, nope, smash that landing. So let's go back, do it again. And that wind's a little tricky too. It's just like just enough of a crosswind to throw you off. All right, so I wish I could, maybe I'll screenshot it. 138 is what I'm looking for. Now look at this. See, if I grab the HUD, right, and let me configure with the HUD. I'm going to configure with the HUD on, right? And we know our speeds are good. We know everything we've learned so far about the A320, right? So there's my side slit, there's my crab angle. It's not much. Get a little more trim on so that it sits in the spot nicely. There we go, right about there. Yep, alright, so it's sitting in the slot real nice now. Right?
1,000.
Okay, stabilize at 1,000. Now I'm going to go back into the cockpit view. Right? Now I know my flight path vector was right about there, so I'm kind of judging it off of that. This shows me a touch low. Going to adjust a little bit. Well, not too much, not too much. Push over a little now. Going high again. Right? It's all about how the runway looks. Now I know I'm going too low.
500.
Right about there. Yep, we're still on glide. Need to get up a little bit more now.
$400.
Looking good. The runway looks good. If anything, we might be a little bit low.
300.
I see I've crossed over that crab angle a little bit. Kick the nose over again.
200.
200 minimums here. Going low. Now I'm looking right at the bricks right now.
100.
Right? Looking right at the bricks. Right at the bricks.
50. 40.
40,
30,
30, 20.
10.
Now see, I was way off center there. I did get applause. I don't know what my ref speed was, but let's play that back and look. That was a little bit better. And again, I'm getting used to this too. I got 5 years. Most of us have 5 years of muscle memory. All right. So I'm coming down the pike. I am crabbed out. Not the worst landing in the world. I also noticed that I'm lowering my nose a little too fast. Right? So again, do it again and again and again. This is what I did with the flight path vector, right? I don't know if is there a brightness on the... I'm going to adjust my null zones a little bit for this as well. Let's make it a little more sensitive here. And let's take that null zone right down to half. Alright, let me just recalibrate. There we go. That's a little bit better.
1,000.
I might take a little sensitivity off of it now. There we go. Let's try this. So we're at 1,000. And I'll crank in a crosswind here after a bit and see how we do. Right, so let's look at the HUD real quick. I'm way aiming too high, right? So the flight path vector, theoretically speaking, it's right where you look. Like right smack in front of you, right here. You know, like 2 inches off the dash, so to speak.
500.
Getting a little bit low because I can tell because the runway's starting to flatten out on me a little bit.
400.
Definitely getting low. Pick it up just a little bit. Alright, just check my vertical speed.
300.
Okay, bringing it back down now. Okay, now I'm looking dead on the bricks, right? There we go.
200.
Okay, 200. Okay, here comes the crab angle.
100. 50.
40. 30.
30.
Waiting for it. See?
20. 10.
Oops. Okay, I got applause for that landing, but it was a long landing. Alright, let's replay that landing and see how that one went. A little bit better, a little bit long. I did go a little high at the end there. As you can see, this is just today's landings. I deleted most of yesterday's. Actually, I'm sorry, so this is all of today. Right? All of these were today. I think I starred that one there. But, oh, did I do this? The wrong one? Yeah, this was in New York. Oopsie. Okay, so this is the one we want to replay. Alright, so we're going to focus on the... Let's go on the flight deck here. Self-test in progress. Is that going to turn around and work? Oh, that's not good. We needed that. Right, so there we go. Alright, so back up a little bit. So let's pause right here. We're going a little low. Let me see if I can find it where it's on glide. So I was a little low like that whole time, as you can see right here. Alright, that's what you want the runway to look like. Kind of stretched out in front of you, right? If you're too low, it'll look kind of flat like that, right? That's only a little bit low, right? So when you're here, right, you want to be looking at the numbers. You want to aim yourself here, somewhere right in here. And if you think you're going a little high, look down, and the tendency will be to kind of, I hate to say to look down, and the tendency will be that you'll bring the plane down, right? Your aim point for this is like right here. If there was a HUD, your aim point's like right there, right? So play it out, okay? It would also help if we could see out the side a little bit, because then you kind of, you know when the ground's coming up a little better, right? Oops. So that was a long landing, but it was okay. I mean, you know, you're right on the margins there. Where did we jump down? Right about yeah, you want to be down. You want to be down like here, or preferably here. Somewhere between here and here is like perfect. You know, you're starting. You have to be down by here, but it's preferable to be over here, right? So let's try one more landing for the night, and you basically just have to do it over and over again until you get comfortable with it. That's all I can say. There's a lot of muscle memory and visual cues that you're looking for. So like immediately I'm looking. You know what? I'm going to crank in. I'm going to crank the wind down. Just do a flat calm one real quick. That's all. Just do a flat calm landing. Right? 138. We're looking for 138. And look at that, 12.4. Okay. Alright. So I'm already going up on the glide, and I don't want to do that. So I need to get my speed back down, vertical speed going back downhill. Right? And I want to catch it. Nice and easy, I want to catch it. Right? Looking for that 2.5 degrees up.
$1,000.
Oh, for the love. Stop the nonsense. So a little bit high here. And see, I'm coming off kilter, right? I need to readjust to the right a little bit. Catch up here. I don't understand, like, you're lined up completely and then it just kind of goes off kilter a little bit. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, just got two whites there for a second.
400.
Okay, we got white over red now. All right.
300.
Alright, now we're low. Hold it right there.
200.
Get the white back. I'm looking right at the bricks, right at the 500-foot markers. Okay, lineup is good, lineup is good.
100.
100 feet, autopilot's coming out.
50.
40, 30, 20,
20.
10. Oh.
10.
Not get applause for that, by the way. No, I did. They're clapping softly in the background. And your center line is right there, by the way. So where's the HUD? The HUD will point to the center line. Alright, so that's the center, right? Should probably put the brakes on, huh? Auto brakes max. Right, so it's not the old lineup. The old lineup used to be you'd line this up. Right? That's off now. So even your lineup is off, right? So like I said, your aim point's kind of like right here, where the flight path vector kind of lives, or where it would be. So let's look at that on replay and see what we can't get. Stable, nice and 50 over the threshold. Flare it out. Not the greatest in the world. Would have been a little bit better to hold that off. I'm gonna convince to get this perfect once tonight. Once tonight we'll get it perfect. Alright, 138. Oh, actually, I know why we were going so fast. What do you want? 135. There's no wind. That explains why I kept going higher on the glide slope.
1,000.
Okay, we're 1,000 feet stabilized. Adjusting a little bit. I can kind of feel it dropping low, just by a touch. Alright, there we go. Cranking a little more trim. I can feel it kind of going low on me. The lineup, I'll adjust here in a second.
500.
500 feet going low. Don't want to do that. Raising it up a little bit. Okay, I'm looking at the numbers. I'm looking at the bricks.
400.
Alright, so I'm looking in here. Going high now. Back down. Alright, you can kind of sense it
300.
as long as you're visual. I mean, if you have to put on approach or an RNAV, do it. Right now, I'm right in there on the
200.
500 foot markers right now. Minimums. Alright, holding her steady.
100.
100 feet.
50. 40.
40. 30. 20.
20. 10.
Yeah, see, this is what I was doing. Nice soft landing, but flared too early. You gotta wait almost for the 50, 40, 30, half a second flare. Yeah, see, I had one good landing today, and I believe it was this one. Yeah, see how I'm nice and flat there? Start the round out. That's how you do it. And I did do that without the HUD, and I don't remember what the wind was, but at any rate, practice makes perfect. We'll do some more of these streams. I mean, the big thing is, let's replay that in the flight deck, and we'll see what we can't get here. All right, so, oops. All right, let's go here. Okay, see, we're on glide slope here. See how the runway kind of stretches out? It's all about that view, how it stretches out. So 200 feet, right? I'm looking and aiming here, in here, right? Once you're visual with the runway, you can kind of aim low, you can aim high. You just want to make it over the threshold a little bit. Now, what's my vertical speed there? 800, right? So I'm aiming here, starting to aim up to the end of the runway. And roll out. Right? It's a shifting aim point, right? The same thing that the flight path vector does, you want to do visually speaking. So you go back here, right? Go back to about 100 feet. Okay, you're coming in, you're looking right there, right? Start aiming down the runway, but don't look above the runway. Look towards the end of the runway, not all the way down. Right? Nice soft landing. We'll do some more tutorials like this. A common mistake is to flare early, and if I get on here, I'll probably show you a crap landing where I flared way too early. You know, it's just learning the visual cues again, and, you know, just adjusting, and the muscle memory. So see, I started flaring here, or rounding out, and I was off kilter, see? And I'm adjusting on the runway. But I touched down not in the right spot, you know? What else do we have? What was the first one this morning? Was, I'm sure, terrible. Let's see. What did I do? this was last night. Oops. So the first one that I tried today, I don't even know what I did there. Let's see. I'm looking for this. See right there, already too high. Angle's too high, and I am too low. So that's like 20 feet across the threshold. Oof. Ouch. No good. So you'll either go early or late. It's entirely possible. Don't get discouraged. Keep practicing. And, we'll do some more streams. It's hard for me to kind of explain this, but you want to shift your aim point to the end of the runway. And that's basically how to do it. If I have, the next time we do a stream, I'll try to pull up some documents that kind of show you what I'm talking about. Have a good night and stay blue.